Howdy folks, I am going to do a quick video on how to reset the combination on your lockbox. I looked all over YouTube. I found plenty of reviews that talked about it, but nothing that literally gave you the breakdown that's in the manual. I know I like to have video form of things. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the way to reset the combination on the lockbox. Nothing fancy. I'm just going to throw it together so somebody else can have a better time than I did figuring it out. So it's currently set for these two. I'm going to go ahead and change that. Get my Glock out of the way here. Of course, anytime you're doing this, you want to make sure you're empty, chambered. All right, very actually simple. There's only 5 screws involved. I'm going to go ahead and put them in this little buckety guy. Make sure I'm centered so you can see what I'm doing. You're going to have first these 3 screws right here. Take out. You want to have a relatively small, I don't know the exact size, but a smaller screw. Take out this guy up top. They'll be easily identifiable, are the 3 that are on top as washers. I recommend keeping the washers together with the screws. Washers together with the screws. That's going to allow this item to move. I'm going to pop this. You'll see the springs will make it kick. That's no problem. Don't freak out. Next, you want to go ahead and take off these 2 screws that are for the thumb. I'm sure there's a technical term for whatever it is, but I'm not a technical guy. Those are the only, just about the only screws you're going to need to worry with. So this guy now, once the springs pop, is going to come right off. Make sure that these springs on here don't run away from you. Keep them on their pistons. I'm going to set it right in the middle here so it doesn't get lost. This here, you want to be able to just lift on this side up and then just slide it out of here. Wiggle it just a tad, nothing complicated. I'm going to set it right here as well so we don't lose track of it. I lied when I said 5, there's 7. There's 2 more screws you want to take care of right here and here that aren't initially visible. I'm going to take those out. Set that one's gone here. All the pieces of this are real high quality. I haven't found any issues with it whatsoever. I've seen people say this is the hard part. This is not the hard part. It's easy. Once these screws are out, you just tilt this up at this angle, and they come right out. Just tilt it up. Do it slowly so none of your triggers get caught in there. Pull it out. Now, this is a super simple design. These guys are the ones that are going to end up locking you. Or these are the buttons that allow free motion. These guys are the ones that will not. So to rearrange them, you can kind of push up on the back part here a little bit. You just pull up a little bit. While you push up, they pop right out. Piece of cake. Find the combination you want. Let's say, just for the sake of the video, let's just swap these 2. This should be, if I'm doing it upside down, it'll be the outermost 2. Will be the buttons that we press for your combination. Boom, your combination's done. I recommend not touching the bottom of this because that's where the kind of the gravity takes the lubricant that's on these springs. So I recommend not touching that too much. If you get a little stuff on your hands, you'll be fine. I haven't found that it wears out or anything. It holds for a long time. So once you have your lined up correctly, slide it right back in at this angle. Don't try to shove it in straight. Slide it back in at this angle. It'll click right in there. Put it all back together. Well, putting it back together is actually the reason I did the video, because I ran into a little bit of snags when I was putting it together. That's why I wanted to help at least one more person with that. If you found this helpful, feel free to give a thumbs up. I don't really care about subscriptions because I'm not really a YouTuber, but it'd be nice to know I helped somebody. Helps, I guess, if you line up your screws correctly. Okay, so now you want to put this guy back in here correctly at this angle. Put that, no mind background kids in the background there. And I'm not going to bother editing this. I could fast forward all the screwing in and the unscrewing like fancy YouTubers do, but I am not one of those people. So if you're taking the time to watch this, then hopefully you find this useful. All right, now right here's where I ran into a little bit of a snag, and the reason I wanted to make the video, because it's not that big a complicated issue, but it can mess you up if you're not being careful. You want to make sure these springs do not get caught here as you're putting them back into place. So what I did when I put it back in is you pull down with your fingers as you're pressing down. This is going to catch this. That's the whole point where they connect. So pull your springs back as you set it down, and you're good. Make sure this looks good connected here, and these springs are not caught in this connection point right here. So you should be able to have free motion. You screw these 3 in, you'll see if you got it set correct. Correctly. Last screw. I did skip a step. It probably would be good once you initially put the keys back in place, make sure you test them, make sure they're flowing correctly and freely. If it's not quite clicking correctly, you want to do that at the time. I should have said that as I was putting it back in there. So, best to have a gun or a clip or something in here to give it some weight to push against. Close this upside down. Oh, hold up. Maybe I didn't do my springs correctly. Yeah, I think we're good. There we go. Set that for these outer two, or the combination. Ta-da! So that's how you reset your combination on your Lockbox. If you found that helpful, feel free to leave a comment or share with somebody else who's having problems with their resetting their combination. Hope you found that useful, and have a good day. God bless.